I've just gotten home. I've got the cooker hooked up behind me, and on my way home, I kept an eye on the smoker to make sure that it was following me, and thank goodness it was. And I kind of reminded myself of the sermon series that we're going through at Believers Church here in Statesboro. That series is titled, Follow Me. And I got to thinking about that, how we should follow Jesus just like that cooker followed me. It did not matter if I was going straight. It did not matter if I was turning. It did not matter if I was going around a curve. That smoker followed me. And just like that smoker followed me, so should we be following Jesus. Wherever he leads, we should follow. And how does that smoker follow me? Step outside and let me explain to you how my cooker follows this truck or whatever truck it is hooked up to. And I'm going to try and put a twist on that and explain to you how in the same way we too should be hooked up to Jesus. Let's step outside the truck back to where the cooker is at, and I'll explain it to you. Well, here we are behind my truck. The cooker is here. In order for me to make sure that my cooker follows the truck, there's several steps that I must take. And like I said earlier, for us to follow Christ, we have to take those same steps. The first thing that I must do to make sure that this cooker follows the truck is to hook up to the truck. So let's do that right now. Now what I'm going to do is take the tongue of the cooker and hook it up to the ball of the cooker. Now, the cooker is hooked up to the truck by way of the ball on the truck. So like the smoker is hooked up to the truck, so should we be hooked up to Jesus. The smoker is hooked up to the truck by way of the ball. So how do we hook up to Jesus? We hook up to Jesus through his word, through reading of God's word, the Bible. So the smoker is hooked up to the truck by the ball. We are hooked up to Jesus through God's word, the Bible. The next thing I do is to hook up my safety chains. The safety chains are welded onto the tongue of the cooker, and then they are attached to the truck. So just in case that weld breaks, the cooker will not just go off on its own. It will still be attached to the truck. So let's go ahead and attach those safety chains now. Okay, I take the safety chains, like I said, that are welded to the smoker, and I crisscross those chains. And the reason why I crisscross these chains is just in case that weld does break and this smoker does come detached from the ball, those safety chains are crossed and the tongue will fall inside of that basket or inside of that cradle, and then the tongue is not drug down the road. Now, let me talk about us as Christians. We need to have a support chain in place. Be that chain a life group or a Sunday school or a men's group or a women's group. Some type of a support group should be in place. So, just in case that old devil, he comes around and he jumps on us real hard and tries his best to break us off of that Bible. If that should happen, we've got a support group in place, and we will fall inside that cradle, and then we're not drugged down the road. We're being cradled by that support group until we can be reattached to the Bible. The next thing that I do is not so much for me as it is for those that are watching every move that I make. And let me explain myself. When I first wired up my smoker, I would turn on in the truck my right blinker and the left blinker would blink. I would turn on my left blinker in the truck and my right blinker would blink. I'd put on brakes and nothing would happen. My wires were crossed. I was giving off mixed signals. And we as Christians need to make sure that we are not giving off mixed signals, that we are not saying one thing and then doing another. So the next thing I do after I've hooked up the tongue to the ball, hooked up the safety chains, then I hook up my lights so that those that are watching me, they know what I'm doing, and what I'm telling them that I'm doing is exactly what I'm doing. So let's hook up those lights. You know, in today's world, it's easy to get caught up in peer pressure and wind up saying you're going to do one thing and wind up doing the other. Okay, so now the lights are hooked up, and those that are following the cooker, they know what I'm going to do. Likewise with us as Christians, those that are watching every move that we make, when we say that we're going to do something, we're going to do it. We're not giving off mixed signals. We're not saying one thing and doing another. The last and final thing that I do is attach a safety pin into the latch that's on the tongue of this cooker. So you see, if this latch comes loose and that tongue should come loose, then it could definitely cause some trouble. If our tongue becomes loose, it too can cause trouble or cause us to be in trouble. So with all of this being said, as a recap, Jesus, the Bible, we are hooked up to the Bible, so we are following Jesus. And if the devil jumps on us, we've got our safety chain, our safety group in place to help catch us and hold us. We've got our lights hooked up. We're not giving off mixed signals, so that those that are watching us, they know that what we're going to do is what we're going to do. What we say we're going to do is what we are going to do. Well, those are the steps that I take to ensure that this smoker follows my truck by hooking it up to the ball, by attaching safety chains, by letting those that are following me know what I'm going to be doing. Likewise, I hope that you are connected to Jesus through the Bible and that you have a safety chain or a safety net in place, and that those that are watching you are not confused by mixed signals, that what you say you're going to do, that you do that. My friends, I hope that you follow Christ as close or closer than this smoker follows me. I pray that where Jesus Christ leads, you will follow, that you will follow him all of your days.
Where he leads me,